Thank you. Good afternoon. I call to order GCC regular board meeting, November the 14th, 2023 at 4:45 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Roll call. Mr. Mark Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick.
Absent.
Mr. Jack Turner.
Present.
And Lily Campbell present. Welcome, everyone. It is so good to see you. Thank you. Do we have public comments?
No public comments.
No public comments today. So again, I want to welcome each of you. Thank you for being here tonight, this afternoon, tonight. And to those who are watching us virtually, thank you for being with us. We have an exciting meeting today, board members. We are going to recognize students. We're going to hear from some students, and we just shall, and from our superintendent. Board members, I'm going to move some things around by consent so that we can get these young people out so they can go home and study and get ready for school tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. So at this time, we're going to move the student recognition instead of the superintendent's update. And then after that, we will have the student board reports. and then come back to the superintendent's update. That consensus, is that okay? All right, fine. So with that, we are ready to move into our student recognition, our future high school boys soccer team, who has done wonderful this year. So we're so excited to have you with us and to share in the glory of your soccer team and what you have accomplished. Superintendent, would you like to?
Yes, thank you, Madam President and members of the board. Tonight, I am really proud and excited to bring to you the Futures Boys Soccer Team. They are here with us tonight. They have recently been crowned the CIF. I always want to say San Joaquin, but it's Sac Joaquin, but I do want to say San Joaquin. Section champions for D7. And I will tell you what's great about this is the first time in GCC history we've had a CIF champion. So we're really proud. So we're proud of obviously these students, and we're excited to have the team here with us today to be recognized by the board. I also would like just to put out there a note. They in their championship game, they beat Western Sierra, which is another charter school in Placer County, part of the Rockland family of schools. So I just, for Superintendent Robin Stout out there, just want to let you know that, hey, GCC is doing some big things too. So we'll get that out there. You don't have to call Rockland, call GCC. All right, with that being said, I would like to welcome to the podium Principal Vicente Luevano and Coach Ron. Come on, gentlemen. And so what we would like to do at this time is just recognize your students. And tonight we have for you a certificate, and we also will be sending medals over to your school. And again, thank you so much. Congratulations. We're extremely thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We just want to one as features thank Coach Ron for his service coaching. Coaching, we don't coach for the money. This isn't something that coaches do. Coaches do it for the love of the sport and to build the sport and to grow students out of the classroom. And what Coach Ron has been able to do, he's been able to consistently stay on the high school student athletes in the classroom and out of the classroom. We had all students be eligible the entire term of their season. Even when we were in danger, the students were able to work hard with the accountability from Coach Ron and his efforts in making sure that all students were eligible for the entire season, which is a great thing, which is why the students did what they did, going undefeated and being section championships. So thank you, Coach Ron and the Blue Boys. Thank you.
Coach, you have a you have a speech you want to give?
I don't have a speech. I'll just say that I'm more than grateful and appreciative of the hard work that these gentlemen put forth this season. Anytime that I've asked, for them to give me 100%, they always went above and beyond and gave me more than I asked for. So just want to show my gratitude and appreciation for their hard work. I coach, but they have to play the game. So that accomplishment, it belongs to them, really. They did the hard work, and I'm appreciative and grateful for this group of young men.
I'm going to ask the principal, Coach Ron, if you'll join us up here, and Madam President, if you will also join with me. I mean, Coach, we're kind of thinking you holler their names out all the time, so if you will call them off and bring them up, and sure, we will present a certificate.
Sure, no problem.
And I'm sorry, by the way, the certificate says, Certificate of Achievement proudly presented to, and then the student's name, in recognition of their exceptional dedication, skill, and sportsmanship in leading the Futures High School soccer team to victory as the 2023-24 Division 7 Sac Joaquin section champions, November the 14th, signed by myself as well as board president Kevin. Take them up to start calling them out.
So without further ado, I'll call up one of my center defensive mids, Dima.
Stay here.
Next player I'll call up is David S. Next player I'll call up, another center defensive mid, Eduardo Padilla. All right, next player I'll call up is our starting goalkeeper, Val. Next player I'll call up is one of our defensive players, Samarpreet Baines. Next player I'll call up is another defensive player, Julian O. Next player I'll call up is another defensive player for us, Ruslan. Next player is our center attacking midfielder, Diego Cobb. Next player is our left winger, Rubinho Downer.
Is that the hat that they, yeah, that's a fancy hat.
And the last player I'll call is our center attack or center mid, as well as a striker, and with our league MVP, Igor Chernitsky.
Oh, that's the MVP. And then we would like to take this opportunity to recognize Coach Ron Shepard.
Thank you.
And then also Athletic Director Andrew Lincoln. So please give our appreciation to Athletic. Okay. All right, take one more photo. Did the banner get here? Okay, well, we'll take a photo and thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Ready for tomorrow. Again, on behalf of the board, we appreciate you and love you and thank you for your hard work and your dedication. And at this time, we do give you permission to leave so that you can go and get ready for school tomorrow. So thank you so much for coming, both the coach and team members. Thank you. You may be excused. I guess you don't want to go.
You say governance and practice.
We do have a speaker if you want to listen to the speaker.
All right, so tonight, board, as you may remember earlier this year, we kind of shared that we wanted to begin to have more of our students have the opportunity just to kind of give a a brief report of what's kind of happening from a student perspective. So we have two wonderful students from Community Outreach Academy Middle School. We have Irina Bulgera. Did I get that? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And Anthony Hernandez, who are two students from COA Middle School, and I'm looking forward to their presentation. So with that being said. Anthony.
Good evening, President Campbell, board members, Superintendent Sample, and executive cabinet members.
My name is Anthony Hernandez.
My name is Serena Bugera. We're an 8th grade leadership students at COA Middle School.
And I'll tell you a little about myself. That when I was born in San Francisco. But my father is from El Salvador and my mom is from Guatemala. I have two sisters who are actually in the back, sitting right there. One older, one younger. Thank you. And you know, and who actually goes, my little sister actually goes to the COA Middle School. She's in 6th grade. And my oldest sister, who is 22, just recently got engaged by her boyfriend. So things for us are going. So things for us now are going well. But before all this, it had some hardships. I had moved from many different schools and houses due to personal issues. And all the schools that I'd basically gone to just weren't much help for me or my sisters. And they didn't seem very involved with what they wanted to do with us students. But that was all until we moved here to Sacramento, and when my mother enrolled me and my younger sister to COA Elementary. I started in 5th grade as my sister started in 3rd grade. And speaking for me and my younger sister, by far, out of all the schools we have been to, COA has been the most helpful, kind, and supportive to not just us, but to everyone. I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't much of a good student. I was very reluctant and very, sometimes like a little aggressive, and I was not like much of a very people person. But COA kind of changed all that for me. They were so kind, so nice to each other, and I wanted to keep that, so like the way the school was. And it really helped me adapt to everything that went on over there. And as you can see now, my lip is kind of twitching for how much they've actually helped me. And thankfully, it wasn't through some tough military training that I adapted to all of this. It was more of like self-obedience to just, continue what they have going on at the school. So COA has had a huge impact on my life. As of right now, I take both honors math and English. And not to be blunt, but students and teachers compliment me about how mature I am and how of a great student and person I am. And I'm just so glad to be here. I mean, I would have never thought just a couple of years ago I would have been such a successful student. Not just in my eyes, but for my parents as well. On my own accountability, school has brought me to more ups and downs from 5th grade elementary until now. Teachers have always been there for me in my times of need, serious and non-serious moments. And not to brag, but all this is true. I've never gone to a school where teachers are devoted to help students as much as they can and still protect, love, and also sit down and talk with students as just regular people and not just little kids that they have to take care of. I say this with an open, warm heart that COA is my favorite and my personal opinion best school that I've ever been to. From the other 5 or 6 schools which may not sound like a lot, but it made my top 1 ranking and gave me the best chance in life. So some may argue, but agree to disagree. All right.
I was born and all my life lived in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. Thankfully, my life had been more stable than, for example, Antony's. I lived there for my entire life with my parents' younger brother and my cousin. We often traveled and went on tours and vacations, both in Ukraine and worldwide. I went to one of the highest rated schools in Kyiv, studied English languages tutors and speaking clubs, had the best grades in class, and lived a happy life with my family and a good book always by my side. But it all changed at once on February 24th of 2022, and the warplane scattered the pretty haze of sky with missiles and everything was covered in smoke. Fled Ukraine with 2 suitcases in our hands and a dark past threatening to overcome us if we look back. Since that time, the consequences for trying to look up these memories in the farthest corners of my mind still follow me. fearing 10 times more terrifying when I am not forcing myself to action, and the worst scenes take place inside my head as if they're being played on TV, repeating over and over. When I came here, I'm not hide it, I felt scared. For the first time in my life, I'm being in the new environment, not just for a fresh into vacation on a sunny beach or snowy mountains, but for the unknown amount of fun. In an unknown country with different, strange customs and tradition. There were two things I was afraid of the most, school and language. The first fear went away gradually, the second didn't. When I stepped into the messy class with nothing but prejudices and the door closed behind me, I understood there's no way back. So I took a seat, prepared for the public shaming for my accent, inability to talk slang like a native, and just being you. I felt the word during the ELPAC testing. Only did I find out much later that I passed it and now free from the dicey field. Although I still felt nervous about my language, I was now able to move one step closer to my plan of becoming a lawyer after I chose leadership as my elective. This class had opened the horizons in front of me that I had never imagined before. Now I'm in honors classes, second year in a row, and I even visited the Washington DC in Junior National Young Leader Conference. Vince's school helped me become a better version of myself, and I cannot imagine any different outcome now that I am here. The teachers are the best ever. The most decent difference of Syrian Middle and my Ukrainian school, except the curriculum level, is the amount of engagement. No doubts, the Syrian Middle School really helped me a lot of my way to integrate it into the country of America, and it was beyond all my expectations.
Thank you for hearing us out. But now let's get started with the introduction of our school. And we are excited and honored to represent our classmates tonight and share our recent accomplishments, upcoming plans, and showcase and show you the main idea of what COA looks like.
Okay.
This year we have a wider variety of honor classes for students who decide to achieve a higher learning goal.
Our school provides an honors math and English for both 7th and 8th grade students.
We have a SOAR program for 7th grade science.
These students work with mentors from the UC Davis Aerospace and Engineering Program and the Aerospace Museum of California. Last year, the field trip to the Aerospace Museum of California gave a little tour to SOAR students and presented them a lot of the history and other projects that are stored inside, and gave them details about these projects as well.
We also have lots of electives, such as leadership, robotics, engineering, creative writing, journalism, Ukrainian, photography, teacher assistant, or only HB, art and dance.
Our school also has a lot of support classes such as ELD, reading intervention, homework, and study hall. For just ELD, there are 3 different levels and 12 classes in total.
Mhm.
We have lots of students from different nationalities who come to school regularly.
First, they get their schedule and all the supplies needed from our librarian and counselor.
Then each student gets a personalized orientation from a dedicated leadership team. Try to make them feel as comfortable as welcomed as we can, speaking their language and making contact.
We also invite these students during every silent sustained reading time in a week. We meet together and discuss their experience in a new environment.
At the end of every year, the leadership class makes a group orientation for the 5th graders coming to school.
Firstly, we have an assembly regarding our staff members.
And then go outside to see the DMX assembly.
To get to our next slide, as it shows on the board, our school has been an exemplary showcase of the CKH program for about 10 years or so.
Our school also provides lunch clubs, assemblies and rallies, and school spirit weeks, which are mostly hosted by leadership team.
Our school is also involved with charter education and community service. And lastly, donating socks and gloves for Ukrainian soldiers who are at war and need as much support as they can get.
At COA, we have high performance sports teams such as volleyball, soccer, and basketball. We would love to invite you to our volleyball team final game this Friday at Future High School.
Mhm.
We also celebrate our staff's birthday by announcing them to the school on our loudspeaker and hanging personalized flyers all around the school.
By the way, starting this year, we have a special system of rewards called merit points. At the start of the year, every student has 100 points. But if he or she does not follow the school or classroom rules, the points are being taken away. They can earn them back by helping the teachers and having exemplary behavior. For those who are able to keep their score high, there are special parties hosted throughout the year.
This may sound a little blunt, but our staff members are really the best. They are so nice, they're helpful, and just offer any type of support that a student can really need. And it just shows how amazing that our school is.
And finally, events. Some of our school events include, but not limited to, Winter Wonderland and our school's cultural fair, which hosts a dance show from the COA Elementary School and Middle School and other showcase as well from both the middle and elementary school.
Some other events we have at our school are the TK and Kindergarten Holiday Store, where leadership buys and brings items from our school to sell to the TK and kindergarten students for Christmas.
Some items that our school brings to the younger students are 3D items made for a robotic class and other pieces of crafted items for our art classes.
Our school also has field trips to colleges, museums, and a theater event to go to the Nutcracker on December 12th.
And the parents is awake and engage with school lab by visiting the office of the principal or come to our school and hosted parent workshops. We also want to invite you to visit our school on December 21st, which is also the last day before the holidays, when we will be hosting our school Husky Games. It's an annual school-wide competition where each student participates.
Actually, about the Husky Games, it went so well last year. So many students still talk about the Husky Games last year and still hope that our Husky Games will be as great as last year's.
We are trying to make them as interesting as we can and even planning to engage some teachers there. I would share that our leadership soon is supposed to them the last day of school before winter break. I'd like to formally invite all of the board members to support our classmates when attendance around.
But finally, one of our 8th grade teachers, Mr. Donahue, loves to host a barbecue for 8th graders at the end of the year, and he grills and cooks burgers and hot dogs and hands them out with the help of the leadership students, student by student.
Students by student.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us tell you about our school and how we feel about it.
Do you guys have any questions about anything we have talked about so far?
I have one question. Did any of the teachers and administrative staff pay you to say all those kind
Yes.
words?
No, I said everything with a full self direction. I mean, if I could, I would go on and on and on, going about how this school has really changed me. I mean, I was a little kid who wasn't really known as the best kid, but until this school, it's really shown me how to really act in front of people such as yourselves and, formally present myself.
And I do know you telling the truth because I sharing everything you said about your school and the progress it is making and what it's doing for students. So I appreciate you, both of you very, very much. And I appreciate all the work that I know that your school is doing for students. Thank you for being here, board members.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking a leadership role. It's
Thank
very
you.
important. Good role models.
Thank you for letting us come and show you all this. I mean, not everyone can say that they've come up to the board meeting and to GCC presidents and say that our school is the best.
It's a great honor for us.
I guess I have to believe you, because you're emphatic about it. But there was one thing you invited the board to, and that was, what was the date?
21st.
The 21st, that's what I did. Okay, the Husky Games.
Yes.
Okay. Some of us will make sure we're there.
And so with the Husky Games, is it like a grade or a class competition?
It's a class competition divided by grades. So each grade level goes against each other.
But it is a school-wide competition.
School-wide competition.
Yeah, so 6th grade goes against 6th grade, 7th grade versus 7th grade, 8th grade versus 8th grade.
We are so proud of you guys. So very proud of you. And I'm not gonna sit here and cry. I'm just gonna tell you, but we do like everything that's happening COA in our schools, and we thank you for sharing that with us. Now, one thing I want to see, stand out the way. Stand back. I want to see the family, first of all. Will the family, please stand, those who are here? It's all of the support staff. Will you please stand? POA staff?
Yeah.
So those who are here, can see. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your hard work, and it's a testimony to what you're doing, the students. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And anytime you wanna come to board meetings, you can just come and sit down and make it feel good. Thank you. And,
Anthony and Arena, thank you so much for this presentation and really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
yes,
Thank you for letting us be here and does that out of your hands, such a great school came into place.
thank you. Oh, God, you guys are something else. Thank you, sisters, brothers, for being here. You should be very proud of the kids. Thank you. Now, as we said with the soccer team, if you want to leave, whenever you want to leave, we will understand. So parents, if you want to take them, that's good. So get ready for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. How do we go from there? You know, it's just incredible. But I guess we gotta go back to the regular agenda now that all of the wonderful things are over with. So I guess you're gonna keep us going and feeling good and high and way up here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, the superintendent's report after the student report
I
is just
know.
not fair. It's not fair, but definitely want to start off by saying that I'll start at the end where I was gonna go, and that is really excited to showcase our students
Yeah,
and to really bring our student voice into our board meetings. So very appreciative of that. I want to thank the COA staff for coordinating that and working with our students and to prepare them. I want to thank the future staff for their work to ensure that our soccer team got here. So thank you very much for that. So board, I just want to share with you a few things. I won't go too long today in terms of some of the items that I've had the opportunity to work on this morning. I'll start there. I had the opportunity to meet with some of our community faith leaders and really to seek their input and share with them how we're working through our Portrait of a Graduate to prepare our students, but also how we can partner with them to support our schools, either through mentoring, volunteering. Was really happy and Executive Director Tokoy and Director Terakov, as well as communication specialist Jimenez, all were kind of there to help pull this day off, as well as Melissa. And if you look at that picture at the bottom right, that is the faith leaders who came together. Mr. Coy, you want to share a little bit? You kind of helped me co-facilitate today.
So we had a really nice time with the faith leaders that were invited, some representing all different communities and ethnicities throughout Sacramento. I think they were kind of surprised that we invited them because it's the first time we've ever invited faith leaders to partner with us for GCC. But we were able to share with them the demographics about our schools, the successes of our schools, the initiatives of our schools, and ask them how can they partner with us and share with them how we would like to be able to partner with them in the future. So we would really like for these partnerships to create mentorship and opportunities for our students to be leaders and active in the community around them.
And I will share with you, they were really excited to learn more about the Portrait of a GCC graduate. And a number of them kind of want to follow up on how they can continue to support us in our efforts. So I want to again thank Mr. Coy, Sergey for being part of this morning and helping me kind of facilitate that. Earlier this month, I had the opportunity to attend the AXA Leadership Summit, and our student, our Saba alum, Emmanuel Array Reyes, was recognized among the students at the Every Student Succeeding Award, which was given to students who overcome tremendous challenges to reach their goals of academic excellence. And I would be remiss without recognizing our former North Charter president, Ms. Tara Jones back there. She is now the AXA VP of membership. And so really excited about obviously our work with AXA, but definitely excited about Ray and his award on this time. And also had the opportunity to, during the summit, attend our equity luncheon along with board president Campbell. And I'm quite sure she'll share more during her report. On November the 1st, I'm really proud. If you look in the middle of that, you'll see some kids with a sweatshirt. We held our inaugural meeting of the students, of the superintendent's Student Advisory Council. This group was established to represent the student voice across the GCC. And during the meeting, the students shared valuable insights about their student experience, as well as the challenges that many of our students are facing and the topics for future discussion. Really excited about this group of young people who will meet with me throughout this school year to talk about the student experience within our schools and how we can continue to best serve them. As I shared with them, they are a group of valued advisors for what we are working with. Also attended the Community Collaborative, or CCCS Care Fair on November the 7th, and had an opportunity to see a number of our community resources that were provided, and definitely want to affirm the CCCS administrators for an outstanding event that was really for our students, as well as, thank you, Angie, was for our students, but also most importantly, bringing those key resources to our families. I am proud, and I actually want to share this next one about HLA with Mr. Coy and let her tell the news to the board about what happened at Higher Learning Academy here recently. Something about an IB.
They were authorized officially by International Baccalaureate as a world school. So we got official notification.
So on October the 20th, we received that news. We're ecstatic and really proud of Higher Learning Academy and their journey as they received the PYP authorization, and they are officially an IB World School. So very proud of Principal Coonan and his team, as well as Executive Director DeCoy, and really her mentoring and work with them and our other IB schools, and how they've really coalesced around each other to support. So at this point, HLA now joins EPIC and GIS in fulfilling this IB mission, and I'm very proud to say that we have 3 fully authorized IB World Schools. So very proud to say that. Also during this time, in the San Juan School District area, for a number of years, there was a group of charter leaders that would meet. And so earlier or late last month, Mr. Coy worked to reestablish the San Juan Charter Leaders Collaborative, and really was excited. We had representatives from Visions in Education, Choices, Options for Youth, Aspire, Golden Valley, California Montessori, obviously Gateway International School, but it was really nice for us as GIS to be the leaders to bring that valuable meeting back to our area. And so I want to thank again Mr. Coy for her vision. And then that's that group of leaders right there, kind of in the bottom left-ish area. As I kind of close out the report, a few items I want to share with you. In front of you tonight, you have a community needs assessment report that we had kind of commissioned to look at the communities that our students and our families come from and how we can best serve their needs. And the document before you is something that we have shared with our cabinet group. We have talked about and shared with our administrators. And also we want to make sure that we share this information with you as we look at how we're fulfilling the needs, the educational needs of our students, and also recognizing where they're coming from. A lot of this work is going to be foundational to the work that Sergey is doing on the development of our community schools grant, to look at what resources, what services, what more can we do for our students, because what we have come to recognize is when you deal with some of these other exterior factors, you can really get to the educational results that you need. But you got to deal with the mental health. You got to deal with the fact that some of our kids come from communities of poverty. And so really excited about this report, and then the work and the learning that we're going to do through that. Executive Director Elliott led our principals at their last meeting through a bit of an exercise. And where you want to share briefly about that?
Sure. We worked with principals and their whole school site teams to analyze the data in this community needs assessment, and then determine ways that we can use that community data to impact academic outcomes at the school, much as Superintendent Sample mentioned. And I think we talked for, it must have been a good 30-40 minutes, a very deep discussion on services we currently provide to meet some of the needs identified and services we need to look to provide that we don't currently give to our students and families. It was a great time of learning, of collaboration, and that community assessment is a great tool for us to accomplish a lot of the outcomes in that graduate profile.
Thank you. And so just kind of closing out the report, I have the opportunity during the month of October and the 1st of November to host the superintendent's fall tours. And I will tell you, I just enjoyed myself. I love being out to have the opportunity to visit classrooms, to be in classrooms. I even on Halloween was with Principal Peach. And I'll let you guess which school that was. CBCSBK 8. But it was nice. I also had an opportunity to get a big piece of pumpkin bread. Well, it was bread that was shaped like a pumpkin from COA Middle. But and then you'll see that picture up there where I had the opportunity to be part of Sava's culinary class and learn about, I think I made an Italian soda. And so really was exciting to get the opportunity to spend time at each of our schools, to visit classrooms, to see instruction happening in person, and then really learning what our teachers are working with and what they're doing. And I can tell you, board, I couldn't be more proud of the work that's happening across the entire GCC and what we're doing. So very pleased with that. Finally, last week, I had the opportunity to attend the Charter Schools Development Conference in Anaheim with CBO Rena and Executive Director Elliott. And it was just a great time of learning. This is the annual conference that Eric Premack puts on, where we look at kind of what's the fiscal update, the legislative, as well as the legal update. Our former superintendent and myself, Dr. Peterson, had the opportunity to deliver a workshop on succession planning, as well as the journey of GCC, and kind of share the process that we as an organization have recently went through and the successes around it. And definitely did a lot of talking about the board at that one, and how you guys sometimes make me cry, but no, seriously talked about really how we have a very collaborative relationship, and that is what's key to really sustainability, growth, and keeping an organization strong and sustainable. So I want to I said it publicly at that workshop, and I want to say it publicly here, that I really appreciate your leadership and your guidance through this entire process the last few years, because it is what's added to credibility and sustainability within our organization. So thank you, board. Finally, I had the opportunity to attend the CSUS Anchor University Task Force meeting. Had an opportunity to meet the new president for Sac State, and really it was great to attend this partnership that there were very few K-12 partners in the room, and so was really happy to have that opportunity to be the voice for Gateway as well as K-12 education. And again, a way that Sac State is looking at some of the work we're doing in terms of how do we get deeper in serving our communities, because it does have educational impact. Finally, board, just want to remind you, tomorrow is our annual Wine, Cheese, and Chocolate event that's hosted by the GCC Foundation. Starts at 5:30 at 58 Degrees in Holding, and I look forward to connecting with everyone at the event. So with that being said, that is my report. If you have any questions.
Any questions, board members? Any comments? I have one. How long has this been in operation? How long been developing?
So we, Community Strong Strategies started working on this back in the summer for us, and have recently given us the final compilation of the.
I'm impressed, really impressed. This is fantastic. So thank you, whoever community. This is great information. I really appreciate it. Anything else from board members on this?
Yeah, I have,
Yeah.
really appreciate the report, and there's really a great deal of information in this. It may be a little old by the time we have our next retreat, but I would really like to have us have an opportunity to go through it and take a look at it, because I'm astonished at some of the data in here because it doesn't, it's different than what I would expect. And so, I just really would like an opportunity to get at it in more detail.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is
We
impressive.
look
Yeah,
forward to doing that.
great. All right. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We are now ready for our study session, 2023 tax results. And Mr. Corey, I believe that is you. And it is in your binder, everyone.
Good afternoon or good evening, time change. President Campbell, board members, and Superintendent Sample. It's my pleasure to present to you this evening the results of the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or CAS, from the spring of 2023. Academic, you can see on your screens, right, that we switched to portrait of a GCC graduate. Okay. So academic performance is the core of our work as educators and as an organization. It is no accident that academically ready is the top left indicator in our portrait of a GCC graduate. It is of utmost importance and directly impacts our existence as charter schools. But moreover, it affects our students, their capabilities, and their confidence. We want our students to be lifelong learners who are proficient in grade level content knowledge. We want them to be critical thinkers who process information in this digital age. So we ask ourselves, what do we want our students to know and how will we measure it? The CAS test is a key way we measure our students being academically ready before they leave us. So first, I'd like to provide some context regarding student test results nationally and statewide. It's important for us to understand and know common trends when looking at how our sites are doing in comparison. Nationally, ELA and math are measured every 2 years by the NAEP test, so we only have scores from 2022. But as a reminder, student scores that year fell in both ELA and math. It was the largest decline in math since 1990, and the 4th grade reading scores declined all the way back to 2005. This test will be administered again this coming spring of 2024. For 2023, California results, the state results, are more hopeful than the prior year. In ELA, the percent of students scoring proficient dropped by just 0.4 of a point, and math increased by 1.34%. Both Sacramento and Yolo counties saw a minimal increase in math and a small decrease in ELA of less than 1%. Twin Rivers and Sac City had increases in ELA and math, with Twin Rivers having a significant increase for math. Looking at our GCC schools as a whole, calculating our own GCC percent of students scoring proficient on the CAS, we have 26% of students proficient in ELA and 13% in math. Our schools experienced significant challenges last year that impacted quality instructional time and time on task for our students. Some of the common mitigating factors that would have impact on our CAS results include multiple teacher vacancies at each site. Some of these positions were filled by long-term subs, and some we could not find long-term subs for, so we filled with our own credentialed support staff. So we had a shortage of teachers and a shortage of substitutes overall. Our schools also had many new teachers hired, requiring intensive training and support from site admin. And we are still dealing with student chronic absenteeism that really skyrocketed during the pandemic. Chronic absenteeism is measured by students who are absent more than 10% of the year. Our GCC average for chronic absenteeism is 24.8%, and 7 out of our 9 LEAs had a rate over 20%. GCC also had a large influx of immigrants, most of whom were also English learners, with over 600 new students to GCC. These new immigrants, while they are exempt from taking the ELA portion of the CAS, they must still take the math portion of the test, which still requires quite a bit of reading and writing for their performance tasks. Over the last 2 weeks, Superintendent Sample, Dr. Gold, and I have met with all schools to review their own CAS data and discuss strategies to support our students becoming academically ready. And I will share these specifics with you as I discuss each school specific. Our first school is Community Collaborative Charter School. So on each slide, you'll see the main graphic with the overall results for the school in ELA and math. And then the chart below will explain the change between last year's results in 2022 and this year's results. And below that, it will compare this school's results with their authorizing district and with similar or surrounding schools. CCCS is our only school which is a full TK through 12 program, meaning they test in all possible grades, 3rd through 8th and 11th grade. All other GCC schools only test in smaller grade spans. For example, GIS test in 3rd through 8th, futures only test 11th grade or high school. CCCS scored 19% proficient in ELA and 9.7% in math. This school's demographics are changing with the addition of the virtual academy. CCCS is 84% socioeconomically disadvantaged, with 26% English learners, and had 26 immigrant students last year. They are an independent study DOS school. They had positive growth in mathematics school-wide and for all significant subgroups. Their English learners and students with disabilities increased in ELA significantly, and CCCS surpassed a similar school in math. Moving forward, Mr. Campbell plans to continue the successful strategies from last year, such as offering more live classes and differentiated program supports. They are also utilizing interim CAS assessments and all testing grade levels. And next we have Community Outreach Academy. He scored 32.46% proficient in ELA and 25.59 in math. COA is 82% economically disadvantaged and 78% English learners, and they had 231 immigrant English learners last year. COA students with disabilities increased their scores in both ELA and math. They surpassed the district, meaning Twin Rivers, average in both ELA and math. And the COA English learners subgroup of students surpassed the statewide EL subgroup average in both ELA and math. We are serving these students well. And COA surpassed surrounding schools in ELA and math. Mrs. Gonchar and her team are committed to providing English support for all of our students and reading support. They've added designated ELD time for every class, and they're providing new supplemental materials for integrated ELD instruction. They also are training their bilingual paraeducators regularly to provide high levels of support to these students. Next, we have EPIC. EPIC has 28.8% of students proficient on the CAS, in ELA, 25.3% in math. EPIC is 74% English learners, and they had 69 newcomers last year. Their population is also changing because they went from 300 students the prior year to 400 students last year. So they've had significant growth. EPIC's English learners surpassed the state subgroup of English learners averaged by 3.7% in math. Their students with disabilities surpassed that subgroup of the state by 2% in math. EPIC surpassed their surrounding district, Washington Unified, in math, and EPIC surpassed the local district surrounding school in both ELA and math. Dr. Kosh is committed to continued implementation of the math instructional strategies where they've seen a lot of growth and progress to engage all students. Their learning plan this year focuses on 5 school-wide universal strategies to support English learners and includes peer observations for teachers. Futures scored close to 32% proficient. Actually, they scored 32% proficient in ELA and 10.8% in math. Futures is 56% English learners and had 94 newcomers last year. Their English learners gained 3.38 points in math on the CASP this year. They surpassed the Twin Rivers District average in ELA. Their economically disadvantaged subgroup had the smallest decline overall, and Futures surpassed their surrounding local school, Grant, and math. So moving forward, Principal Luevano has implemented a new schedule at Futures that includes designated intervention time for all students. They are focused on literacy components such as phonics and vocabulary, as well as math instructional practices from building thinking classroom. Next, we have Gateway International School. They scored over 49.8% proficient in ELA and 32% in math. GIS has 60% English learners and had 63 newcomers last year. GIS surpassed the state average in ELA. They surpassed the district San Juan average in both ELA and math. They surpassed the similar school, Sierra Oaks, in both ELA and math. And for their English learner subgroup, GIS doubled the state average in ELA and nearly doubled that in math when you're comparing English learner subgroups. And for students with disabilities, GIS nearly doubled the state average in ELA for this group of students. And 35% met or nearly met standard in math, which for that same group also surpasses the state average. Mrs. Dillon is focusing on tiered levels of support for students, adding a new reading intervention teacher this year. They are focusing on reaching the students who scored at nearly met and hopes to move them over to standards met. GIS is also using CASP interim assessments for test practice. Moving on to Higher Learning Academy, HLA scored 18.2% proficient in ELA and 6.9% in math. HLA is 40% English learners, 87% economically disadvantaged, and had 16 new immigrants last year. HLA students with disabilities increased in their math scores by 3.5%, and they outperformed a similar school in ELA. For ELA specifically, 46% of students nearly met or met standards, and for math, 36% of students nearly met or met standards. HLA decreased the percent of students not meeting standard in math by 8.5% this year. Mr. Coonan this year has revised the master schedule to allow for dedicated intervention time for all grade levels. Their learning plan focuses on new research-based tiered supports and weekly CASP test prep. And then for Sava, we actually have 3 slides for them because they are 3 different LEAs. So for Sava Twin Rivers, they have proficiency in ELA of 15.5% and math is 1.7. They are also an independent study DOS alternative school in their testing from 7th and 8th grade and high school. So Sava increased the percent of students meeting or exceeding standard in both ELA and math for Twin Rivers. They had a greater growth rate than the state in both ELA and math, and their economically disadvantaged student group had their greatest increase with 7.5%. In math, 12% met or nearly met standard in math. And then for Elk Grove, these students scored 25.86% proficient in ELA and 2.87 in math. The Elk Grove campus had positive growth in math. Their economically disadvantaged subgroup also had greater growth rate than the state in math. and Salva scored higher in ELA than a similar DOS school. And of course, Sac City. These students scored 12.75% proficient in ELA and 1.6% in math. Their testing completion rates were higher than they ever have been for ELA and math. Their English learners had the least amount of loss, and in ELA, 45% of students met or nearly met standard, and in math, 8% of students met or nearly met standards. Salva overall for all three sites is 80% economically disadvantaged. Salva continues to support students with credit recovery and working to increase offerings for in-person support. Director Summer Ash and her team are focusing on math by having all teachers address and teach math standards. They have created graduation plans for all students based on their assigned cohort, and students are participating in student-led conferences. So I'd like to end by sharing some of the supports that GCC is providing to all sites to support increased student achievement. We have implemented an updated learning cycle that requires the sites to create a learning plan, identify their desired learner outcomes, and specifically what are teachers, coaches, and admin doing to support reaching those outcomes. Sites are required to review their data at the end of each learning cycle in order to adjust accordingly before moving on to the next cycle. They are looking at qualitative data such as teacher and student surveys and teacher observation data, as well as quantitative data such as absentee data, suspension data, and iReady completion and testing results. Supporting from HR under our director, Laura Barragan, they're working tirelessly to recruit, retain, and provide the highest quality staff for our students. This is an ongoing task and struggle that we face. And we just want to thank the board for their support. Number one of our salary schedules, which supports this goal, but also providing substitutes for our sites. GCC is also providing professional development, coaching, and support through our director of data, our academic and data coordinators, and our new coaches to build the capacity of sites related to our specific areas of need, such as English language development, math, our multi-tiered systems of support, and building a positive school culture where students want to be present every day. And to end with, I just want to point us back to our portrait of a GCC graduate, which we saw just so excellently displayed in the students who presented tonight. Our portrait of a GCC graduate really does set high expectations, not just for our students, but for all staff. It begins with having high expectations, and it sends the message that we believe these students can succeed. We believe in them, they can do it, and GCC is here to support them. So with that, are there any questions regarding past assessment results?
Questions, comments?
Yeah, I would say, absentee. What professional development are we doing with the absentee? Because I think that's, years ago, we had some absentees when I was on the Del Paso School Board, and we hired a person to go to the homes and visit the home, find out why they was absent and so forth. So trying to see what we're doing.
Well, we have designated one of our 5, we're now calling them instructional leadership teams. We have 5 of those days set out throughout the year, and we've designated one of those as professional development for absenteeism to support the sites, but we have not yet had that one yet, so that is still on our docket. I have attended Attendance Works webinars to support it, but I really think that's the role of myself and Dr. Gold to support our sites with strategies and ways to support student attendance, but as of yet, there's not a specific professional development that we can, share with our staff.
Well, and as Executive Director DeCoy said, it is on our professional development plan, so we will make sure that we prioritize that and share back with the board once we've completed that with our instructional leadership team.
But some of the things they're doing to address it, number one is we're just asking them pull the attendance data at your end of cycle 1. Don't wait until March. Don't wait until May to look at your attendance data. Look at it now, right? Where should students be right now? If they are already currently more than 10% chronically absent, what are you doing to follow up with those families? So number one is early identification of the students who are already currently chronically absent and intervening at an early time.
We spent, sorry, just back to that question. I was on with the Ross team at Epic, and that was one of their major concerns, the chronic absenteeism. So it is being looked at, you know, and we're trying to look at all ways to address that, because that was one of the concerns from the Ross team at Epic, chronic absenteeism.
And from that meeting, Dr. Koch reiterated, it's the parents who put the kids in the car who get them to school. All right, so what are we doing to educate our parents? So it's a combination of us making the environment welcoming, but also educating parents about the importance of school. They can't learn if they're not present, right? And so this is definitely affecting some of our students. We need them present and on campus. And so we're looking at ways we can provide parent workshops for that as well.
I'm sorry, Mark, you had.
I was just gonna say, has transportation become a challenge or do we know enough about it?
Transportation to and from school.
Yeah, to get these, perhaps that might be one of the roadblocks.
I think it's different for each school, but a lot of, I think Twin Rivers and Rolla have pulled back on their support for us for transportation. So we've had to go outside of what we normally would do for transportation, which means we're limited in where we can provide transportation from. For example, GIS has one bus for transportation, but the parents have asked for multiple buses from different areas. Right? It's about the cost that it takes to have additional routes from different areas. I know Epic families would like a bus from Natomas to West Sacramento. They get a lot of their students from West Sac. It's about the cost of providing that transportation. So yes, I'd say it is a challenge.
I have one other
Yes.
question. Can you tell me what are the thinking classrooms? What is that program?
So Building Thinking Classrooms is actually a book by Peter Liljedahl. And so they have developed a professional development that helps schools and teachers implement the instructional strategies based on this book. So we trained, we've gone through multiple pathways for training our teachers, but this year we only trained them in the summer for 5 days. And now we're providing coaching, whisper coaching, and planning support throughout the school year. For math.
Math is really one of our areas of concern, more than.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question that says, math, do you think Common Core is helping or hindering?
That's a really good question. From my opinion, I think it helps them because it helps them broaden the understanding of how to solve problems. I can just tell you from teaching the Solve It community and for multiple years, we teach math one way, but our students would come to us from Ukraine and Russia learning math a different way. But Common Core helps you teach it in multiple ways and accept multiple ways for solving problems. Do you agree?
Okay, you had your hand up a couple of times.
Joanne, I want to thank you. The information is really informative and unfortunately somewhat depressing when we look at the ongoing results of the learning loss and the pandemic. It's going to be with us for some time. I think you're probably aware of this on a national level. The absentee rate appears to be almost a permanent change in the educational system nationally, because there's some discussion now that really with families, there's been a value change as a result of those 2 years in which, and it's something we may have to really look at, and I think we have the mechanisms for doing this, that maybe trying to keep forcing the traditional system is not going to be the way that many families will want to send their children back into the school 5 days a week. I know we don't control how the state funds school districts. I know we don't control a lot of the factors in this, but I think it's something that, you know, we really need to look at, because everybody here has talked about that. The absentee rate is probably one of the key driving forces on how are we going to change those numbers in language skills, reading skills, math skills, and it's really a national issue.
It is, yeah.
It is.
Thank you, Jack. As evidence of that, I think the growth of the virtual academy just shows you that people are looking for a different option than the traditional method of education. And for Sacramento County, the chronic absenteeism rate is 25%. So we're not far off from what we're seeing throughout the county, and really we're less than we're seeing in other surrounding districts as well. But we hear that the focus for many of the families is more about basic needs and necessities and mental health and wellness and physical health rather than on education.
Well, at a personal level with my own grandchildren, there is a fatigue factor of the parents fighting the children to say you have to go to school every day, you have to, and it has lost a lot of its value because for several years they were just off. And it's going to be an interesting, I wish I could say it, you know, we're looking at it from the outside, but we're part of this, we're going to have to be part of the solution to say, how can we turn this around? Because we need to turn those numbers around as far as the learning that those students absolutely need. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, so.
Well, something else we're doing is the expanded learning program, right? This is why California gave us more money for expanded learning opportunities. They want to motivate students to attend school. And they found that students who attend sports, like these students who we're honoring today, they attend school more regularly because they're motivated to be there. Students who want to participate in clubs after school, music, gymnastics, chess, crafts, band, they want to go to school during the day because they know if they don't get to go to after school program that they enjoy so much. So this is another systematic way we're motivating kids to be at school.
Someone, they're looking at year-round school. What do you think about that?
What do I think of year-round school? I love my summer break and it gets shorter and shorter every year.
You're almost.
I would be fine with that. For me, every decision we make as an organization needs to consider our staff and their needs and the impact it will have on them. Our staff wanting to be present and stay with us, not just our students, but our staff.
And I was gonna add just to that, you know, one of the mitigating factors that Joy shared at the beginning of this is staff shortages and trying to deal with that. So I think thinking about something like that, we would really have to take in consideration what that would mean for staffing and the ability to find staff to do that.
Well, and looking at other districts who have year-round school and what similarities of success are they having?
They're going away
Grove
from
is
it.
year-round and they still have similar losses
Yeah.
in the city county.
And some of the districts that did have year-round, I was in a school that was a year-round. And it does work on you physically and mentally. But some of the school districts who did have, they moved away from it. You know, and use the same schedule starting in August and what have you, but it's not a true year-round program. Anyway, we do know that you guys, everybody, cabinet is continuing to look at the chronic absenteeism and the math. That is one of the issues that we really are facing. So the two major issues, math and chronic absenteeism. But thank you again for the work that you're doing, and we know that you will continue to bring us up to date on how we are progressing, even with the teacher shortage, which is a national program almost, you know, with the shortage of teachers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Oh, that's me, huh? I was just kind of sitting back waiting for something else to happen. Okay. So I think we are down now, board members, to consent agenda item. And I will go over them quickly for the people who are in the audience and virtual, so they'll know what we are looking at under consent agenda item. Adoption of the GCC board minute of 10/10/23, personnel consent agenda, purchases over 30,000, board policy revised new 2024-25 school calendar revised, release of liability and indemnity agreement between GCC and Twin Rivers. Lease agreement, Dwight Road, Salva EGUSD. Revised 2023-24 salary schedule. Job descriptions revised, eliminate field trips, GIS overnight, Yosemite National Park, Nature Bridge, and field trip futures overnight basketball tournament, Chico State. These are the consent agenda items, and I will entertain a motion, and then we'll go into discussion.
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Second, all right, any discussion on any of the items? They were long and lengthy, and we had a lot of reading to do. Particularly 30,000. Any discussion? None, okay, hearing none, roll call. Mr. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Harry Block,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes, absent Bruce Mandrick. So the consent agenda items are passed unanimously with the people who are here. We are now moving to personnel, item 13. Resolution 2023-24-08. Teacher assignment, misassignment, monitoring for school year 2023-2024. Any comments on that one?
No comments from staff, other than this is a resolution that we do bring annually to the board around our teacher assignment or misassignment monitoring, and this is for this school year. And you'll see the teacher assignments that are reflected in the resolution.
All right, and we have another item. Oh, well, we just take them individually. May I have a motion? So move.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. The item is approved unanimously with board members that are present. Bruce Mandrick absent. Okay, and the next item is revised salary schedule movement and years of service policy. Any?
Yes, Madam President, this one is, and Director Berrigan is also here to answer any questions if you have. But we are adjusting our years of service policy as being revised in order to ensure that we can continue to hire staff and hold staff committed to student learning and better align with our current salary placement for our new hires. And again, Director Berrigan is here and can answer more questions if you have.
All right, entertain
Move approval.
move approval. Second, all right, now discussion. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none. Roll call, Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. Absent Bruce Mandrick. So that item passed unanimously with members who are present. All right, we are down now to the ending of our meeting. Board comments.
I would say I attend HLA trimester award in the first trimester award, so, and it was nice.
Oh.
They gave the kids all their awards. And a lot of kids there. I couldn't believe how many kids was in there.
Receiving awards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of kids carried over there.
Yeah.
They got quite a few kids over there. And the other thing is I attend the breakfast this morning for the faith community, and which was great. And I think we can get more community involvement from the faith.
Mhm,
Looking at that.
great.
I talked to some of the pastors on it.
Yes, Jack.
No, I just want to say, it was really nice to have the presentation by the two students and then also to see the young men on the soccer team. It just reminds us why we're all here. You occasionally need that as opposed to sometimes just looking at at dry statistics. And it was really a refreshing afternoon. And again, if you get a chance, say thank you to all the staff for the work they did.
Yes, yes.
And I also attended, as Jason did, the CCCS Care Fair. Very impressed with the various community leaders that were out. good attendance by the students. Would like to see more parents because there's obviously a lot of great programs out there that are offered to the families, so. But I was very impressed.
Thank you, board members, for what you do, your visitations to the schools and to the events. I attended with Miss Joy. Thank you, Miss Joy, for being my chauffeur and chauffeuring me around. We spent the morning at Epic just going in and out of all of the classrooms and seeing the good things that are happening there. And I was also on the WASC, it was a Zoom meeting for Epic, not too long, last week. Yeah, last week, yeah. And I am so sorry, I had signed up to go to CCCS to that meeting, the event. But I didn't think you wanted me there the way I was feeling, so I called the morning and said I just can't make it, but I am so sorry. That I did not make it, but I'm glad you did, so thank you. And again, I just want to thank all of you who put together the recognition of the students today. And the students who spoke in COA. It's just been an exciting evening, so I want to thank everyone, all of you, for your hard work again. I seem as if I'm using a broken record because I said over and over and over. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do here, sitting at this table. You are the people that makes it happen. And we really, truly do appreciate all of you. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, when we will be attending the wine and cheese event. So I know I will see many of you. I'm bringing some guests with me, so we're all looking forward to it. So with that, any more closing remarks? Next board meeting?
Of 12, December 12th.
December 12th. All right. Getting ready. Boy, the time has just flown by. It's the last month of the year. So, anything else for the good of the organization, board members? Seeing none, hearing none, just staring at me.
Not at all.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I will certainly entertain a motion for adjournment. So move.
Second.
Second. All right, all in favor? Aye.